Welcome to Bite Size Pixels. In this tutorial we will be creating a website header which can be used within your website. For this I'm using Adobe Photoshop Creative Cloud 2015, and when you open up your Photoshop you may get a menu box or you may just get a blank screen like so. What we need to do to create our new file is go into File and New, and under Name you can put the name of what you want. So for this I'm just going to put Website Header. Document type custom. We want to use pixels in this as it's for the web, so for the width put 960 and for the height 300, and the resolution needs to be 72. If you put 300 that is more for print, but you don't really need that for your website, so I would put 72 for this one, and ensure that your color is RGB so it is safe for websites. Once you've done all of this, you can hit OK, and you should get a box appear like this. In this tutorial I'm going to be using some textures as well as some like blocks as well, so if you haven't already got a texture you'll want to have a look. If not, I'll do a tutorial on creating textures. But here's one I made earlier. So if you click open, if you've got a texture already saved, and choose it like so, you'll see it pop up in a separate tab up the top here. Now you need to make sure that your texture is big enough to drag into your header. So to do this you can click image, image size, and it will tell you how big it is. We don't actually need it to be this large, so I can actually change that. Make sure it's locked, and I'm just going to change this to 1000 and see how we go with that. So as it appears, it does look a lot smaller, but you are still only 16%. So what you should be able to do now is drag this image over onto here. If it doesn't work, it might be because you've got a layer locked, or you've not clicked on it correctly, or you're on a separate layer, but you should be able to drag it through quite quickly. And then once you've got this, you can just pop it into position. Simple as that. So you've now got your texture layer, and you probably don't need your background, so we'll just hide that for now. And I'm just going to lock my layers. This means that I can't accidentally click onto it, I can't accidentally delete it, I can't accidentally move it somewhere else, so it's best to lock your layers. If you use this little tab down here, it's like a piece of paper with a corner rolled up, this creates a new layer. So for this one I'm just going to write box, and in my toolbar I'm going to use this rectangle tool. Well, it's a rectangular marquee tool. So if you click onto the top there, just like so. Once you've selected this and dragged it on, you will get this moving black and white image. It's just to show you where it is, because otherwise you won't be able to see it. So whilst it's like this, you can come down here and you've got your foreground and your background colour. For this I'm just going to change it to black, and then hidden behind my gradient, oh no, it's on view. Sometimes you may find that you've got a gradient tool hidden in front of the paint bucket tool, so you just need to double click on these sometimes or hold it down to make sure that you get it correct. So yeah, so we're looking for the paint bucket. As soon as you click in there, it colours it in. And what we want to do next is just change the opacity. So you'll see when you change the opacity it just gives it a bit of a different effect there, which can look quite effective in a website and not be too much. What I'm also going to do is double click, and you have some different styles here which you can add to each individual layer, and for this one I'm going to choose drop shadow. Be careful, because sometimes you might tick something and until you click on it, it won't come up with the styles there. So you just need to make sure that you click on the drop shadow and make sure it's ticked. You can change the colours here, but I'm just going to keep with the black and just create a bit of a drop shadow there. You can change the distance, or you can change how far it goes. But for this one, I think I'm just going to keep it quite simple like this. It just adds a bit more depth to it. The next thing I'm going to do, once I've locked my layer, is create another new layer. And I'm just going to use an Elliptical Marquee tool. If you hold down your shift whilst using this and pull it open, again you'll get your moving black and white background. And I'm just going to move this into position a bit more. And then I'm just going to colour this in again and change the opacity. This one tool is great for selecting or deselecting layers, so I'm just going to use that one and just remove that moving black and white there. And then we have a basis for our header. I'm just going to lock this layer and create another one and use the text tool. Now if I click here and put Geppetto's Pizzeria, you'll see that the text is black, but it doesn't stand out too much, so it might be quite difficult to read. So if you click on the top here, you can actually change the colours of the text. You might not want it to be too bold, so you might want to go for more of a grey, or you might want to test a different colour. If you've got a certain colour theme to your website, you may want to choose something like that, but I'm going to go with this grey here because I think it blends in quite well. I'm just going to pop it in the middle there. If you need to change the actual font itself, you can up the top here just choose from a range of different ones, or you can upload one if you're quite familiar with the process of bringing new text and fonts into Photoshop. But I'm just going to stick with this one for now, which is Snell Roundhound Black. So we go like that. And there we have a very, very simple header. So make sure you save it. So if you go File, if you go Save first of all, it will just save a Photoshop copy. So PSD is Photoshop. So this will save all of your layers down the side here. Just make sure you save it in a safe place. So I'm just going to save mine there. And then I'm also going to, you've got this export here, and you can export for the web. So save for the web. This will make sure that your file is a lot smaller, which means that it will run a bit faster on the website. If you have a massive file and you have loads of other assets like images, movies, sound, it's going to make it a lot slower for your viewers to actually go onto your website. So smaller is better. So yeah, just make sure you can choose like different options here still. I'm going to choose JPEG high still, so you've still got the quality there. Check your dimensions and click save. So for this one, it will save it as a JPEG, so this can be used on pretty much any website. Just make sure it's in the same folder. If you've already got, like here's one I made earlier, you can just rename it. So save, here we go, and click save. You might find that you want to play around with it and make sure that it aligns up a little bit more. If you have locked a layer, you can simply click on the lock again and move it, because you might find that you want to change it around a little bit or play with the graphics, see if you want your text to go to the left or the right. But this is just a basis of how you might create a website header. Okay, thank you for watching.